for an
All right.
invite.
Hello, you. Welcome to tonight's call for the anger management class, where we're going to learn about where did you learn to be angry? Is that right, Rita?
Yep.
Where did you learn to be angry? There is a place inside of your mind that stores. Hello, you. Uh-oh. We gotta mute Rita. And there's a place in your mind that stores memories. And from those memories, we know how to act, don't we? What did we learn when we were little, Rita?
Wow, we learned a lot of stuff. I mean, even before birth to 7, 8, 9, 10, we learned how to act, how to behave, what to believe. And we also ended up picking up behaviors unconsciously that might be ours or might be our family members, our TV show, Jaws,
Yeah.
we learned from out there, our environment, and we learned from our relatives, our caregivers, how to act in the world, how to behave in the family. Yep.
Yeah. So guys, we're Tammy and Rita. And so we're here to be your hosts and answer questions and also walk you through some processes that can help you if you use it and or find out what does work for you. Because you're an individual person, right? And we don't know what's going to work for you, but we have a lot of ideas and we've worked with a lot of clients. And so a lot of times we can figure it out based on how your brain is wired through visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. And so our memories are really holding a lot of power for how we react. So you know how we react in a certain way and we're like, how can I get that? Or, oh, that was just like mom or just like dad. It's very interesting because maybe we said we would never act like them. And now here we are repeating it and we feel out of control about it, don't we? We're like, why would I do that? I said I would never do it. I don't even understand it. Like, where is this coming from? Do any of you guys feel that way? I know I have. And so what we found is that it's coming from what we learned growing up. And according to a lot of research and scientific studies, including Joe Dispenza, we're not born with anger. We're not born with it. It is a learned trait. So let's talk about tonight, who did we learn to be angry from or to be scared of their anger so that we were in some way attracted to someone who acted that way, quite possibly. And those are the resources that we want to kind of work with. And what we do is we do a form of tapping and we do interrupting and we come up with ideas for ways for you to interrupt this. But the number one thing that we want to know is what is a really good happy memory? And a happy memory is any place, I really especially like any place in nature where you feel good or anything that you see a picture of it and you're like, oh, I love those. Or maybe like right now in Wisconsin, the lilacs are everywhere and we roll down our window and we smell the lilacs and it's this instantly good feeling because my grandparents had lilacs. And so it's very, loving, warm, inviting feeling for me. So we want to know that for ourselves. So do you want to talk about how to do that, Rita?
Well, I think definitely get a piece of paper and pencil. And if you're listening to this later or you're repeating this, always go and find that a happy memory, like Tammy was saying, very important because happy memories will release endorphins. Happy memories, you get a hit of dopamine. And so you want to do it in the most healthiest way. That's why Tammy says nature, somewhere in nature, something pure like a baby who's laughing or a little kitty who's purring. And it might seem kind of counterintuitive because you're angry, you're upset, someone did you wrong. And like we have all this story and trauma and drama, and we need to be able to shut it down. One of the ways is by we have this thing called the reticular activation system in our brain. It's called the RAS. And we need to direct that. You know how when you buy a car and you're like, oh yeah, I love this car. And then you start seeing it everywhere you go. It's the spotlight effect. So we need to make sure we go to a happy memory, find a happy memory, a happy video. Maybe you pull out your old, what do you call those things? I have mine here. Album with the
Oh,
pictures of your best
photo
moment.
album.
Photo album. Google Photos. No, just kidding. So yeah, so find those happy, and you want to spend time doing this. And I know for me, I was very resistant in the beginning, resistant because it just seemed counterintuitive. It seemed like there's bigger fish to fry. What do you mean? Happy tribe, happy memories. It just did not make sense. So believe us now, right? Question us later when you're like, oh yeah, this does work. So write those down. If you can have 21 of them, 28 of them, and if you can visit them, make them bigger, embellish them. Look, the more creative you make them, the brain retrains it, retains it and retrains it, and what else? It just really wires it in. So very, 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 very important is find your happy memories. And there's this thing in our practice that we call, be careful with this one, how to fuck up a good memory. You have to stop right before you're going to screw it up. Like with the kids and the spouse, and then something happens. And then you go down that, oh, but this bad thing happened. You got to stop it right there and don't go there. Don't go there, because we can fuck up a good memory, right? Like we don't need to practice that. That comes natural. So make sure you stop that, pause, and go again, and just focus on the good stuff. So is that good enough, Tammy?
Yeah, that's great. I just want to know if the lawnmower outside is too loud. Okay, great. Because it's nice to have my windows open. All right. So the happy memory it can just be a place. And because I know for myself, it was hard to find a happy memory initially. So just find that place in nature where you feel good. Find that picture that just gives you, like, it's a puppy that you love, this little puppy face. Or I remember I used to have a picture of a baby platypus, because they're so cute. Baby platypuses look like just adorable. Or something that just instantly gave me that, like, oh, I love that feeling. Okay. The reason for that is because that's what we want to build more of in our life. So this is the way your brain works. It builds on what you do inside of it, what you practice, what you're thinking about. It pulls data to match with that feeling. So if we want to feel good, and if you've tried being angry and you've tried getting it out and punching things and pushing things and hurting things and breaking things, and it hasn't worked, then let's try something else. That's why you're here, right? You're willing to try something else. Everyone raise your hand if you're willing to try something else. Yeah. So write down those happy memories. We want to have those first. And then when we go back and we ask the question, where did I learn to be angry? What pops up for you? You're muted, Rita. Oh.
For me, what pops up is it was an easier decision to be angry or upset than it was to deal with an emotion that I didn't know how to handle. And so being angry was easier to push people away, or to make them wrong, blame them, or the other easy one is to blame myself, right? I
And
did.
where did you learn that from? Like who taught you that that's how you do it?
I think it might have been, I would say my mom. That's an easy one. Poor mom. Hi,
I
mom.
know. They don't try to, they just don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
And it could be any of your caretakers, caregivers,
Mm-hmm. Or
It,
even a TV show, like Rita was saying, if you watched a TV show as a kid, and maybe the Incredible Hulk, even, right? Like, what happens when he gets angry? He's gonna and take over, right? So where did we learn that that we lash out, that we that you know that there's this emotional charge of physical almost force, right? What would you call anger? Like a force? Yeah,
Yeah. Or suppressor, maybe too. Even though it's big, it's big because it suppresses other things.
yeah,
It's big because it minimizes what really is important.
yeah,
It's a mask, it's a disguise. Yeah.
right. And who did we need to control with it? That's another question. Or who did you see as a child? Because I want to talk to even before you were 7 years old. Like this is where you learned things before you were 7 years old. So these are good things to write down, and then we're going to give you some skills for what to do with those things when you find them. Because the reason that we feel out of control about it is often that we don't understand it. Does anyone feel like you don't understand how come you respond a certain way? Or are you all like, I know where I learned that from?
I mentioned before I like meditating a bunch, and so sometimes it'll just kind of slow me down and get me to think about things a little more deeply. And it was kind of hitting me a week or two ago that usually anytime before I get angry, I'm like panicked was the word I was using primarily, but or sad or sensitive. And if I kind of rewind on any times where I regret an outburst or acting in anger, it's usually like my inner child wanting to break down and cry, but didn't feel safe
Oh,
doing it,
yeah,
sort of thing. So for
for
me,
sure.
there's a lot of kind of programming around toxic masculinity that I'm kind of discovering had a lot to do with it, and it was usually kind of that sense that it's not safe, or I again perceive toxic masculinity. So I, as a guy, thinking like I shouldn't display certain emotions, especially in public or around certain people, sort of thing.
Yep.
Anyways, there's other layers to it. But that was one that was coming up for me
Yeah.
this last
And
couple of weeks.
where did you learn to do that? Like who taught you? Who modeled that for you?
Oh, there's same thing. There's so many layers I could answer that, but definitely I'd say other role models, especially that were older than me.
Yep.
So I could say dad, but when I think about it too, even non-male role models,
Yep.
like my mom, and just anybody who's important in your past. And then you mentioned things like media and TV, music, yeah, everyone in society for a large part,
Yeah. What do we learn when we're
and
angry?
myself, of course. I
Yeah.
expecting those lessons.
Well, because it's not an innate emotion. It's a I forget the word that he uses. Anyways, it's a learned emotion. Then that means it's because we saw it, heard it, or had it used against us at some point in our life that we learned about it. We learned how to use it then, didn't we? So if everybody notices that, maybe there's a specific person tonight that you would like to experience, uh, a transformation around, really. If you'd like to experience a transformation around the person that taught you. And so picking one person can be really beneficial just for clarity's sake. Is this getting louder?
You're fine. I
Okay,
mean,
good. So if you have somebody that you know that taught you, it could even be the Incredible Hulk, right? I mean, here he is defending people, or defending certain people, but hurting other people, right? We learn that that's okay because they did something wrong. And so somewhere along the line, we learned it's okay to be angry if we're punishing somebody, or if they deserve punishment, or if if we're trying to protect ourselves, really. Good job. So give a title. that person. So say that you saw the Incredible Hulk when you were 4 years old at Thanksgiving. So then you could put Thanksgiving, or you could just put Incredible Hulk. Or if, you know, mom and dad had a fight on the way to church, could put church. So the title doesn't have to be much. We don't want you to spend a whole lot of time thinking about it, but we want you to know it is creating a result in your life, right? So these images in our mind and these sounds and these feelings are where we learned about anger, the way it was used on us, against us, around us, is an experience that's still in our mind. So as long as it's holding space in our mind, then we can react from that place. We can react from that place, right? So as you notice that title, and we have our happy memories, right? We have some place that we love. I hear the birds outside. My daughter's getting her horse ready. Like, this is all really nice for me to be looking at. It helps me feel calm and good and all of those things. So have that ready, because that's going to be what we go to transition the feeling that we have about the past, this moment in time. So notice the title. Do you want to walk them through it, Rita?
Notice the title. Yeah. So just notice that person, place, or thing, you know, Turkey Day or the Hulk, whatever it is. And then just notice how it bothers you. 0, it doesn't bother you at all, or 10, it's really strong. And as you're noticing it, like Tammy was saying, what color is there, you know, a noise, a sound? Is it a grunt? So notice how you know it bothers you. So we're walking you through a process right now. So you got your happy memory, you got your title, and now you're going to assess it. 0 doesn't bother me, 10, it's really strong. And this number is for you, because you will notice the difference. You will notice that if it's a 10 and you notice how it's a 10, you notice how you are doing it to you, like bringing up that feeling, the choke feeling, whatever it is. Notice how, you know, because as you go towards the end, towards the end of this process, you'll notice that 10 goes into a 5. It might even flip where it doesn't bother you. You don't see it the same way, or you notice what we call the gift. You notice like, oh, but it, you know, today it made me really strong. I have 20 degrees because I heard I was dumb. I mean, like, we hear this all the time with our clients. So 0 doesn't bother me, 10, it's really strong. Put it down. Notice how you know if it's a sound, feeling. Very good. And what did you want to do next, Tammy?
Good. So now, once we know that these resources are in our head, they're called memories. So you could call it, you know, people call it trauma or PTSD, or they call it experiences, but it's actually anything that's a sound, a smell, a feeling, a taste, sense, or a visual, whether it's something like a video playing in your mind or an image. Those things are all memories. Even feelings are memories. So the way that your body creates a feeling is because it knows it did it before. It knows how to do it. So in those memories, we want to notice how much it bothers us, and how do we know that that memory is true? Is it because we can see it like a video? We can see it, like when I was thinking of this, my dad's face popped up, and it's so funny because, like, wow, I haven't thought about that for a long, long time. But he used to have this face, and he would actually get quieter, but he'd grit his teeth.
I can see him doing that.
You seen him doing that?
I can see him doing that.
You're like, I told you. So I saw the face. So how did that make me feel, right? So just notice, what is it that you are doing that you notice in that memory that bothers you? Is it the face, the sound, or the feeling?
Yeah, and for me,
Now that you know.
Yeah, for me, it's a feeling, and it's kind of just like right here. Whatever this is for me, it's kind of where I'm holding that mom feeling, which kind of works up to like a little bit of, you know, like choked upness.
Yeah. right here.
And look, and when you're noticing it, guys, Dorian, you have a 10. I want you guys to continue to be breathing in and out of your nose, okay? As we're working through it, you notice an emotion come and rise, breathe in and out of your nose, be conscious about it, and with calm curiosity, with courage, with compassion to that time, that event, to you is what we want, okay? It's what we want.
Yes, pressure in your face. Yeah, good job. So these are memories. Isn't that interesting? But these memories are really holding a lot of power over our reactions. So that's why we go to memories. They are. I was at an event and this big, huge guy was up front talking like I'm sure he was 6'4", 300 pounds, right? And he was talking about how he's scared of horses, and everyone's like, "This is ridiculous. You're like as big as a horse." And then all he had to say was, "When I was 4 years old, I got kicked." And everyone went, "Oh!" And I'm like, "Of course." Like I would have known that there was a memory back there. We know that, right? But we don't know how much it controls us. But here's a huge guy that's being controlled by fear because he got kicked when he was 4. And the same thing is happening to us. Okay. So now that we know that, and you can see it and you know what number it is, we're going to do an interruption. So right now for Rita, like with something, if I felt it in my throat, I would just kind of be like, let it go, let it go. I'd move it around because it's a physical sensation, but it's an emotion. We also do tapping. So if you haven't been with us, we tap between our eyes, beside our eye. We say we're letting go of this anger, the fear, the pain, the resentment, the guilt, the helplessness, the hopelessness, the rejection. Feelings of out of control. We just let it go. Dad's face, my throat, that feeling,
that 9 feeling, I let it go.
that 9 feeling, the pressure, right? The pressure in my head and face. Just let it go. I'm not there. I'm right here. I'm safe. And then we take a deep breath in. We like to stretch. Give our body a reality check that we're not back there, because our brain will react from the past until we remind it that we're present. So this is the practice of being present, right? And now it's time to go to that happy feeling. So we anchor it by holding our wrist. Some people like to hold a finger or put their hand on their heart, whatever's comfortable to you. We're just anchoring in and we're thinking about, I'm looking at my horse, I'm looking at the sunshine, we're thinking about a walk in the woods or a mountain or the ocean or some animal that makes us really happy. All right, so now what you could ask Dorian is, how do you know that you did this? So look at the memory. Are you watching it like a video? Are you seeing certain images? Are you hearing something? Are you hearing the conversation? Are you hearing it like a story? Are you telling it or talking? Or are you feeling it and you're like, I feel it right here, or oh, it's right here. So just notice how you're holding the memory. Good job. So then we say, we let go of the sound of the feeling. It's okay to let go of the sound of the feeling. It's okay to let it go. And now that I know better, I can act better. Wherever I learned how to blow up, let it go. Whatever blow up means, let it go. And we look up, we look right, we look left, deep breath in, blow it all out. The most important thing comes after tapping. Relax your brain, right? Greg was saying, I couldn't think. Okay, so notice now it's time to relax our brain by just using what our brain loves. Use what your brain loves. Does it love a walk in the woods? Does it love to sit by the ocean? Does it love to watch dolphins play? Does it love puppies? Does it love laughter? Just think about something that helps you just feel instantly good. You don't try to feel good, okay? That's called trying. That's not called feeling good. So don't try, but find something. Find it, what works. Like, do you need a big bouquet of lilacs right now? Or do you like a different smell? Just go get that smell right now and put it up to your nose and sit with it and feel good.
Yeah, go get some fresh peaches. Go get some peaches.
Like you had. I saw those.
I made a peach cobbler, and it was my first time doing it from our peach tree. And I literally stopped and smelled the peaches. And because I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
remember this as a happy memory for the summer. And that's what you want to do, is consciously start finding those happy memories, start creating new ones, write them down, so we can redirect our brain.
Yeah. Really, what you focus on is going to grow. And it's so easy to focus on anger. And then we focus on guilt and shame, right? Because then we feel bad and we did something wrong. And how could I have done that? And how embarrassing. And how could they have done that? And so all of that is focusing on this energy over here, which is not going to lead you to feeling good or happiness or any kind of control in the future. You're building that program. So we want to switch it over here and experience something different, even if we can only do it for a moment, and then go back and notice what's changed. So go back to that moment. Maybe it's the moment when your car was towed. Maybe it's a moment when mom or dad were there, and just notice the pressure or the 9, whatever that situation was, and notice what's changed first.
Yeah. I can notice it's lighter, and for those of you who were tapping for the first time, you will notice a tingling and like a lightness and freshness. And that's because you're sending pressure points into your body, your brain, and it's releasing. It's releasing and it's calming your system down.
Yes. Right. And it does take practice, and that's okay, because you've been practicing something one way for a long, long time. So your brain knows how to do that, just like it knows how to drive a car. So if you went from driving a car to driving a semi, you'd need to learn some things, right? Yeah. So this is just, we're learning some things. We're doing it a little different. No, we don't think about it in the minute. Oh, good point. Okay, so Dorian says, I didn't even think about this in the minute. No, but just like when you touch a hot stove, you don't think about the hot stove. Your subconscious is working so fast. All it does is it grabs the memory and boom, you're reacting, right? Same with the heat on the stove. So most of those emotional programs are being run by our memories and our subconscious, and they're super fast. We don't even think about it. You're totally right. But it doesn't mean that that's not what's happening in the background.
Yeah.
So just notice that we can try to control our current circumstance, and we're really going to feel a lot of loss and out of controlness.
Yeah.
When we understand that it's coming from a program of how our memories are running most of our life. You don't think about tying your shoe. You don't think about driving a car. You don't think about walking. You don't tell your big toe to lift at a certain angle and your ankle to, and your tendons to tighten at this amount in your muscle. You're not thinking about it. You're using a memory to walk.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a great point, Dorian. And we say this in this class all the time. It's easier to learn how to swim when you're not drowning. So you're learning your strokes, you're learning your breathing, you're learning your way around your mental mindset, the mechanics of your mind. Right now, we're teaching you in a deep level the mechanics of your mind. How are you doing it? There's something that happens right before that happens. You have free will, right? And I like to breathe. I like to do squats. Snap.
Trigger. Well,
Trigger,
but that's what people call it, right? When you were saying that, that's the trigger. Well, the trigger goes back to something. Do you think that 6'4" guy that's 300 pounds is feeling like, I was 4 and I got kicked when he's scared of a horse? He's just going, big horse, I'm scared. Right. But we know, and he knows when he thinks about it, that it's because of that. And that's the trigger. Yeah.
Right. And so now you know with brain training that, okay, you start feeling it. You have your knees start knocking, your bubbly starts rising, your ears get hot, whatever your anger is, however you do anger, you know that the minute you wake up in the morning, Am I going to be angry, or am I going to be sad, or am I going to be depressed? What did I do? I woke up and I started waking up tapping because I wanted to take control of my mind. I wanted to drive my own mind, my own bus, right? Peace. So once I started calming, capture every thought. If you wake up and you're noticing you're having a thought about how your husband or partner is going to be a wad, you already know. Start letting it go. That feeling, that sensation. It's not even happening, and we're already predicting it. So you want to start practicing, yes, the happiness. Redirect your brain, the happiness, and then it will become automatic, like tying your shoe, like driving your car. Your car gets towed, you're like, okay, I know it sounds kind of weird. Your car gets towed, you're supposed to be happy, but what do they say? You attract more flies with honey than you do with poop, you know?
You'd probably attract more flies with poop.
The wrong kind of flies.
Oh yeah.
Vinegar, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
More
with
flies
honey
with
than
honey
you.
than with vinegar. Yeah, there you go. Oh, cute. Yeah. And really, oh, this is such a cute story. But I want to go back first and let's just check it, guys. I just want you to check in and notice like what's changed, because it's very interesting how our brain will update automatically, and it's going to be cool when it happens. Like mine updated already. I was like, oh my goodness, my dad was pretending to be like a monster and now he's laughing. So just like that, my brain said, you don't have to hold on to that faith. That's not necessary anymore. And for whatever reason, it was there. You did need it at one time, right? I needed it when I was 2 or 3 and I better listen to dad, but now I don't need to have that feeling. So mine changed right away, but I'm used to this. So just go back and notice what's changed. Has anybody had a change where it doesn't feel as strong? You're not feeling as much pressure. It looks different. The color's less bright, black and white, something like that. Okay, well then we'll tap again. All right, just let it go. The parts that are left, this part of me that wants to hold on to this, the way it doesn't work, let it go. Good to let all of this go. It's not happening right now. I'm right here. Deep breath in. Blow it all away. Flap like a butterfly. Ah, peace. Now move to your happy memory. Imagine a puppy or a laughter of a baby or a beautiful sunset on the ocean or the sound of a river or a beautiful smell you love. For a moment, feel that good feeling. Good. And now go back and notice what's changed. When you notice what's changed, sometimes it helps us to just close our eyes and notice like, oh, it used to feel this way, but now I'm seeing this. Or I'm used to see this, but now I'm hearing this. Because things start to shift.
Yeah. So if you notice
Sorry,
that, go ahead, Greg.
just to check in, just to make sure I'm doing it. So after we do our tapping in the present, then sort of anchor ourselves with the happy memory, then recall the unpleasant memory and sort of compare it to how we felt last time.
Yes,
Exactly.
we want to move
Gotcha.
through the emotion of that memory. It's got a lot of facets to it, and we don't want to leave it like an open sore. So we want to check and then go back, and we want to check and go back. So it's very good. But Dorian's already seeing it blurry, like watercolor. Good.
Yeah.
And or faded. Beautiful. Just notice if you could even push it away, like make it small, tiny, tiny. Your brain is a creative genius. It really is. All right.
Yeah.
So
I think because it's feeling for me, it like feels softer, like the
the pressure.
physical sensations are less intense. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and if you have pressure on your face, like you can do nice things to your face. You can go, oh, it's all right. Let it go. Just be gentle with yourself. Sometimes, sometimes that's what really softens us is, you know, we're hard and we're like this, and somebody's like, oh, honey, you must be having, and then we're just like, what? You know, like it switches our emotion around. So be gentle with yourself. Give yourself a hug. We can do the butterfly taps and notice what's changed and notice what hasn't. What still bothers you? Is it a smell or something you see, something you hear? Is it okay for it to change and look differently? All right, as I let this go, everything changes. Good job. Deep breath in. Blow it all away. You can twist around. Do some yoga moves. Get your body stretching. Look at the beautiful picture. Actually, that's the outside. Gorgeous. And now you're really anchoring in something beautiful, something that would help you feel relaxed and peaceful and happy. Good job. And you can notice your, you know, when you're having different chemicals come in, there's a shift, there's a sensational shift, right? You can feel it.
Yeah.
Because adrenaline and anger feel different than peace and joy or happiness, right? So you want to know the difference if you don't.
Yeah, and what's super cool is that once you start noticing this peacefulness, this relaxation in your body, you know, it might bring you to tears and it might bring you to like total joy and gratefulness to be able to be in this particular sensation of compassion and calm and love, that when you do get into, you know, an angry state, you're like, oh, that doesn't feel that good anymore. Like now
Right.
you need to start chasing this dragon. So I can,
Yeah. Ride it. Ride the dragon of joy.
yeah.
Yeah. Good. So let's go all the way back to that memory again and just notice what's changed. Does it feel different? Does it look different? Does it sound different? Smell different? Listen to the birds. Sounds more muffled. Perfectly. You're doing it. Isn't your brain amazing? Very good. Perfect. That's just what we want. So only a few memories stand out in our head from childhood. I mean, maybe 5 to 10. And we view our past through those memories. So as soon as those memories aren't there, it'll be like this whole world opens up and you'll think, oh,
Yeah.
my
Not
dad
only
was
do we,
nice.
yeah, not only do we view the past, but that filter is what we view the future to, you know, like
Yeah,
that guilt, that
definitely.
shame, that like I'm screwed up, I messed up, you know, like those we are also projecting into the future. So if you can clean them up now, you know, if you can clean them up, that code of action, that memory has going to have a different action. Maybe it won't be angry and aggressive. Maybe it'll be compassion and observing. Maybe you can step back and witness like what you would have done in the past. That's going to be really like miracle work right there. Where you're like, oh, that
Feels
used to
like it.
upset me. That used to really get me under my skin. And now you're like, wow, it's not there. It's just, it won't be there.
Dorian, you have brilliant questions. Dorian asked, any research on how long it lasts? Does it last forever or do the memories regain power? And that all depends on what you practice,
Right.
right? It really is about you and what you're practicing. And so some people, a memory will switch and they'll never have it come back and affect them again. They won't be reacting from that. And other people go back to it and notice different things. And there's another onion layer, there's another sensation, there's a different sound, there's, you know, different parts of it. So it does depend on your brain, but it definitely depends on what you practice. So practice peace.
Yeah, practice peace. So And the more positive, more creative, more embellished you do your good memory or your new memory, the better off you are.
Oh
The
yeah.
better off you're, because now the power is in grace and compassion and love and calm. Now that's where the power is. So like Tammy was saying, if we still practice anger because we haven't flipped the switch or we haven't found that memory, or sometimes we call it the jackpot, you know, like when we are in a session, we look for that jackpot, we look for that place you don't want to go, so we could get to the root of it, so we can switch it and flip it. And once you get into that, then it's hard to find that. Like, you know, even in sessions we tell you go back and find it, you're like, I can't find it. We want you to go find it, we help you go find it, remember this, remember that. And your brain does not have access to it because it's been brought up to the light, it's been healed, it's dissipated, those neural connections have been severed, and now it's a new neural connections. So
Yeah, the only thing that's keeping memories alive is that the the memory capsule. That's what I'll call it. Like the thing that's holding the memory through your visual process, your auditory or your kinesthetic, or even your smell or taste. But that's it. So if that's not there and we can literally rewire it, then things can be completely different.
yeah, I think also want to mention, I want to mention the part of, oh, what was I going to say? It was important, but my brain's all like, nope, you don't need that. So we'll let
Well,
that
Greg, you think about it. Hopefully it'll pop back up. Greg says, I find that when it starts softening, I start feeling sad about it before I can get to a place where it doesn't bother me. I find it comes back, but so does the memory of how I changed and softened it. So the instinct to do this again and get through it is easier.
Yeah. And the sadness to me, Greg, the sadness is just
Mm,
get to grieve that whatever it was, you know, because it kept us safe. It kept us alive. That part did its work, you know. So to me, like I remember third grade spelling bee. I was, when I was letting go of that, I was I was so hard on this little girl because I spelled the word wrong, and my whole life was now, you know, try to do it better, try to do it good. Don't do anything you know you're going to make a mistake on. So that let me play very small. So it's kind of like a grief and a loss, and it goes like this: just let it
mhm.
Yeah.
happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah, I
is.
get
There's a
that.
lot
Like,
of
oh, wish I thought to do this then. Yeah, sort of thing.
And we still
right.
want to be
For
gentle
me,
with
I'm
them.
picking memories where I don't like my actions and reactions so far.
And just
Yeah.
love those parts because they're doing the best they can, you know. We
Yep.
just got to find the memory and flip it and switch it, and not in an aggressive way, in a very kind, loving way. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your process that you're going through, like if you could step in there and give the younger version of you something, you know that the younger version of you would need more love and more peace and more happiness, right? It's not the anger that's going to make you better, but that's something that's wired in all of us to believe that, but that's not what you needed. So go back to the younger version of you whenever you got angry and you want to beat yourself up for it, and just be like, oh, actually what you needed was somebody to say, you know, oh, you did your best, or good job, kiddo, or you'll ace it next time, or we still think you're number one, or you know, we need those things in order to feel good. So we can go into the memory and give ourselves that, even
Right.
though we got angry, even though we can even tap on that. Even though I got angry, I'm going to let it go. I still love and accept myself.
Even
And
though
so
I got the word wrong, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
I appreciate
You,
that I tried. I appreciate
Huh.
this or that about myself, right?
I went up
you
there.
guys mentioned earlier how anger is kind of a mask for what else is going on, right? So
Yeah.
it kind of seems like it kind of makes sense that like if you get rid of the angry part, then you're going to have to feel whatever it was masking, and then hopefully after that maybe turn it into something happier.
Totally. Yeah, you're just going to go through the processes, but it's not going to take you 20 years. It's going to take you 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 maybe. You know what I mean? So
Eventually.
that's the benefit. It's the benefit of this is that you don't have to hold on to something forever. You really can help adjust it. So let's go back and notice what's different, because I'll tell you what, the memories that your brain wants to hold on to are the fearful ones, the ones where you're very scared, or the ones where you're really super excited, where there's a lot of adrenaline. So how come we would hold on to the memories that we learned about anger is because we were scared. That's really what it was, right? And so our brain said, oh, don't ever let this go. And then, but it captured what to do when we're afraid. And so sometimes we lash out when we're afraid, or sometimes we learned to act in some other way, or to attract that to us. So we really want to go and make sure that we're stepping into that memory and rewriting it.
Yeah.
It's really going to be important.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It's not happening anymore, but it's running a program for you.
And everything's a program. I know this feels maybe weird to say. Everything you're doing, saying, wearing, how you act is a program.
Like 98%.
Yeah, it's
95
all
to 98%.
Yeah, so capture the programs you don't like, capture the behaviors you don't like, capture the words you're saying that you don't like, and start doing the same process, this 5-step process where you're finding a happy memory, finding the resources, how bad does it, feel, and interrupt it, do some squats, do some, that's where it's transforming, then rewrite it to where it looks awesome, possum. And then you practice the happy memory until it just becomes ingrained.
So it becomes the truth. And there's two kinds of memory. So there's the actual truth, which most of us remember our memories about 40% accurate, some less. And there's a lot of things that our brain puts together and confuses. Like I've had people say, well, that was in our garage at that house. And then they found out, oh, right, we didn't have a garage at that house. But their brain just put two things together, and it does that, and that's fine. But just know that these memories there's the truth memory, and then there's the memory that's being used against you to run the program. And that's what we really want to address, the one that's running the program. Yeah. So what we want to do is make this a really great memory. So let's go back and just notice how much different. 0 to 10, how much does it bother us? 0, not at all. 10, as bad as it could ever be. And just notice how much it still bothers you. Anybody at 0? Good. So 1 to 3 is great. At that point, we can start to put in our own imagination. From 9 to 7, good. That's okay. Hey, from 9 to 7 is really, really good. So just notice the parts that still bother you. Are you seeing it, hearing it, or feeling it? And just tap right away. Tap like a butterfly, sting like a bee. No, just kidding. Let it go. I'm not there. It's over. I'm safe. I lived through it. Thank you, body, for keeping me safe. Deep breath in. Flow it all away. And really amplify your happy memory. Think of laughter. Think of the funniest thing you ever saw. Think of the funniest thing you ever heard.
Yeah, even good thing you said laughter. Laughter really will help, Dorian. Look at the 7, notice how and then do a fake laughter, because you're using the physiology of your body to shift and change that. And it's doing a bad, good collapse. So it's collapsing that, and it'll go down faster and quicker.
We just go, ah, ha, 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 ha. We pretend like we're talking on a phone to somebody. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
And then let's go back and notice what's changed, right? Because if we can do this for ourselves, then guess who wins?
Yeah.
Right? If we hold on to something forever, who pays for it? Us and our children.
And our partners
Us and our offspring and our partners, right?
and our
So,
cats and dogs.
but I'll tell you what, it's us first. We are always paying for what we're holding on to, the resentments and the hurts and the pains that are being held in our mind are being used on us first and foremost 24/7. And somebody else really isn't paying for it. So good. And go back and notice what's changed. What number are you at? We can do it faster. Sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah, fast. So go back to the bad memory.
0
Notice
to
what's
10.
changed. Yep. And then come back, tap, breathe, laugh, come back, go and do it fast, fast, quick till it collapses. Okay, we have like 3 minutes. So is there any burning questions, any burning desires? Anything you'd like for us to cover?
Well, let's add, so since Greg is at this point, Greg, let's add something. What's part of your happy memory? Can you imagine something really super fun, skydiving or hang gliding or zip lining or riding horseback or kayaking through the mountains, or I don't know. What
Hike on mountain is one that came up. And actually, I'm sort of mid typing. Like you're laughing just helped something click with me. Like you made me laugh. You have a contagious laugh, by the way. And then, but I went to go like revisit the memory I don't like, and I kind of couldn't let go of your laughing. And so I was still
Exactly.
laughing and feeling happy, and it kind of hit me. Oh, the neuroplasticity sort of part, like even if you try to sort of consciously switch, like your brain's holding on and then I kind of thinking about that in reverse. I'm like, oh yeah, I do that. Like I kind of give myself reason to be. It's like I'm fueling the anger, or the sadness, or the disappointment,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that just I don't know, it was a click sort of moment for
Good
me.
job. Because there's a part of the brain that
Not
says,
being
you
able to
let
let go of your laugh. Yeah.
Oh, yes, and so now that you know that about yourself, find an app, or I know there's some really good on YouTube like laughter tracks. Find something like that
Yeah.
and use it for yourself. It will help you laugh, and it's
You
really
know, I should get. Yeah.
yeah, I should do a
Yeah,
laughter
that's
track
a
for you.
great idea.
Yes, so
I'll
so
take
now
it.
take that hike through the mountains back into your memory. So just close your eyes and notice that hike in the mountains when you were hiking, and take it back to the little you and put it in that memory and make it really eventful and fun. Because if we want to create adrenaline with our happy memories, just like we had with our other ones, and if you're at a 1 or 2, then it's time to start to just add in some good features, some fun things that could have happened. Add in that laughter. Somebody's laughing and everybody thinks it's contagious and they start laughing.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm finding it hard to attach the hiking view to like the other memory, but laughing's easier. And
Okay,
you
good.
said something different where it was like be in that memory and do something different, like go flying. Anyway, sorry. I don't mean to
Yeah,
interrupt so much.
good. So that's what you do to help the memory shift, and now practice that. Oh, good. You're laughing too. And it really, really helps because your body's like, how could you be laughing when this is going on? Because your subconscious is literally telling you this bad thing is happening right now. That's why your body's acting that way.
Mhm.
So if you start laughing, your brain goes, well, you're laughing, but this bad thing is happening back here that we're not thinking about and unaware of. But this bad thing's happening, but you're laughing. So then it says, oh, well, it must not be real. So it's easier to let it go. Good job. Yeah, so now make that memory good, embellish it, write it out the way you would want it to be. Give the little you the gift of having it be full of laughter. Something's happening in that memory. So, but you just practice going back and forth, and use your happy memory a lot. Make your happy memory even bigger. You find a magnificent lamp on the mountain you're walking up, and you rub it, and a genie pops out and gives you your 3 wishes, right?
The genie starts laughing.
Yeah, like we can get imaginative, because imagination will solidify those memories more powerfully by using more adrenaline. So make the happy memory extra fun, extra playful. All it is a sense, something that gives you a wonderful sensation. And then you go back and visit that bad, and then come back out and go back and come back until it feels like 0. And then things can start to shift right away. My dad's face looked totally different. He was like, I was just kidding. I was pretending to be a monster or something. I'm like, oh, okay. And it didn't scare me because I knew he was pretending. So there's where I shifted perspectives, and then it collapsed it. So if it feels different, then I'm not going to be reactive to that, right? That's the whole point. That's the whole point. And not to try. So don't go back and try to change the memory. Don't go back and try to do this or that. Just use what you know works for you. What smell, what visual, what sound, what feeling, petting a cat, right? Feeling a cat purr.
Yeah, I brought that to the memory. Yeah.
Yeah, having a cat purr on you, like that feeling can give you a really good sensation. So. All right. Well,
Great.
that's it for the evening. So hopefully you have a lot to take home. Anything else to add, Rita?
Practice makes perfect. It's better to learn how to swim when you're not drowning, and you're not drowning now. So when you wake up in the morning, the first moment you have, start laughing and start having fun, and remember the good memory. And if sadness shows up, clean that up. If frustration shows up, clean that up. If victim mentality shows up, clean that up. If blame shows up, clean that up. And you just keep cleaning. And when you keep cleaning that house, then you could be the gatekeeper of your mind and keep, housekeeping. And Tammy likes doing it at night, right before she goes to bed. Clean up all the muck, the guilt, the shame, the whatever. Do it today before you go to bed. And then do your gratefuls, and then wake up in the morning and start breathing and tapping. Nothing else, breathing and tapping, until you can have a clarity of a choice that you're making for that day. And if you don't have choice, don't get out of bed.
Doctor's orders. Yeah.
Write down those 10 memories that you learn how to be angry, how to be sad, how to be mad, how to be ungrateful, how to be whatever it is, and start rewriting them. Get them a title, assess them. 0, they don't bother you. 10, they're really strong, and start working on them. And you will get the shifts and changes. You will do it.
The nice thing is that you'll just start reacting differently. All right. So it won't be like you trying to hold yourself back. It won't be like, I want to kill them, but I have to behave myself. You'll just be like, oh my goodness, I feel completely different. And that's what we want to hear. That's the win, right?
That's the win. And focus on your wins. That's another big one. Focus on the moments that you did capture the thought, the moments that you did feel good. Capture those wins, because I know that part of our brain, the survival part, wants to focus. It wants to see what went wrong. We got to pause that and then focus on the wins and what is good. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. It's good for your health. It's good for your finances. It's good for your relationships. And that